They had a vision. They wanted to start a school. So they sat down with a whiteboard and they put ideas down of what would they want this school to be. What would be so special about Bradford Prep that's different than the school down the street or any school? So they came up with some ideas. They had goals. They wrote the goals down, and then once they got the goals, they went to the state and they said, we want to start a school. So the state says, okay, what are your goals for this school? So they told the state what the goals were, and then the state said, okay, we understand your goals. Now, how are you going to meet these goals? What steps are you going to take to make Bradford Prep a really good school? One of the things that they put down was they wanted it to be a brain-based learning school. A brain-based learning school is basically a school that's designed on how the brain works, how the brain operates. And you take those techniques and you apply them when you're teaching. So they took these goals and they made a plan on how to reach the goals. They took them back to the state, and then the state approved the school based on those goals and the action plan. And then it took 2 years for Mrs. Drescher and Mrs. Painter to start reaching their goals. Day after day, they looked at their goals, they looked at the action plan for their goals, and they worked on it every single day, putting this school together until its final approval by the state. And then we put a board of trustees together, which is 6 or 7 people like myself. I'm an educator, I'm a psychologist, and in education, so we put as a board member, we put our goals together, and then we made action plans, and as a result of that, here you have, sitting here now, Bradford Prep. So, now it's time for you guys to set your goals. Everybody wants you to do well. The state wants you to do well. Mrs. Painter wants you to do well. Your parents want you to do well. But the question is, how do you do well? How do you achieve according to brain-based learning? So, this is what I want you to do. I want you to look at your academics for the last 4 or 5 years, and I want you to realize that you have weaknesses and strengths. Think about those weaknesses that you have academically. It might be that you need to read faster, or maybe you need to take better notes, or maybe you need your math back. Whatever it is that teachers have told you for the last 3 or 4 years that you need to work on to be a better student. When you identify those things, I want you to write them down as a goal. So a goal might look like, okay, I need to learn my math facts, I need to be a better writer, I maybe need to be organized. Sometimes you might want to say, I need to be a better public speaker. So I want you to think about that. Now what you can do is, you can go to your teachers, and you can go to your advisors, and you can ask them, what do you think about my goals? And they might make some suggestions because they teach you. So then I want you to write the goals down. You're going to get one of these books on Monday. On the inside of the book, there's a page where you can write your goals down. Goal 1, 2, 3, or 4. Okay? And then on the inside, when you meet with your teachers and your advisors, it's one thing to set goals, but then how do you reach those goals? Reaching the goals is called the action plan. You want to write down, okay, so if I want to be a better reader, then here's the things I have to do to be a better reader. I have to sit down every single day for a half hour, and I have to read. And Then after I read, I have to explain to someone like my mom or my dad or my sister what I read to see if you understand it. That's an action plan, okay? So once you put all these action plans together, you write them down. The best place to write action plans is in this book. The month of September is open because the month of September has already gone by. So your advisors and your teachers will help you with the goals and put the action plan together. Now, one of the most important things when putting goals together is organization. Now, we know in brain-based learning that organization is something that takes a long time to develop. It's not easy. That's in what they call the front part of the brain, and it doesn't really develop until you're 25 years old. So we can't just say to you, all right, Johnny, why don't you get more organized? Well, what does that mean? So organization, when goal setting, starts at home. So my suggestion for this year, and starting Sunday night, is that before you go to bed, you take out the clothes that you're going to wear to school and you put them on a chair, okay? And then you take whatever extra activity you're doing, whether it's a sport or it's an instrument, whatever it is, you take that and put it at the door, front door, and that's where you leave the house. Brain-based learning tells us that if you do those things, you will sleep better. We also know that if you get 8 hours of sleep, you learn better. That's brain-based learning. So that when you get up in the morning, you get up and you're all ready to go. Get up, brush your teeth, get dressed, everything's all set for you. And then when you get to school, you have these planners. And as you go through the day, you write your homework down. And then when you get to the end of the day, you can look at your homework and you make a plan how to do the homework. How many people here can actually do all their homework in study hall? Good, good. Now brain-based learning tells us that the earlier you do your homework, the better off you are. If you try to do homework late at night, your brain is tired and you don't think as well. So it's best to try to get your homework done as soon as you can, early afternoon, and you write it all down and then you follow the plan. So another thing I'm going to ask you to do is to ask your parents to buy you a whiteboard that you can put in your room, and on the whiteboard I want you to put your goals and write them down. So you'd be, goal 1, 2, 3, 4, put it in your room so that every day when you get up, you look at your goals and you say, okay, I'm going to work towards those goals. Another thing I'm going to ask you to do that will help you be successful in school is to have your parents buy another whiteboard you put in the kitchen. You put a whiteboard in the kitchen, and then you put Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and you write down everything on that whiteboard that you're going to do this week. Whether you have a test, whether you have a sports contest, you have a paper due, you write everything down so that your parents can see it. You cannot reach goals by yourself. You need the support of your teachers, your advisors, and your parents. If your parents see your goals, then your parents can say, okay, I will help you reach that goal. I will make sure that you have the things that you need to reach your goal and the encouragement to reach your goal. The interesting thing about goals is that when you set your own personal goals and you work towards them, then you become more inspired. It's one thing to reach goals because other people want you to do it. It's another thing to reach goals because you want to do it. If you set your own goals, then you're going to be inspired to reach those goals. And when you reach those goals that you set, you're going to be so proud of yourself, and that you will be a better student. And you're going to be able to reach those goals, and we have goals at the school that we set 3 years ago. At Bradford Prep, and Bradford Prep students will be the most prepared students to move on in education. Are there any questions?
Actually, it's not a